Hey guys, welcome back to Cheryl K's Cooking Diaries. This evening I thought we would put together another delicious casserole, and this one is called a chicken supreme casserole, and it's got several little things in it, so I think y'all will like this one. So give me just a minute and I'm going to show you everything that goes into this. Okay guys, here we go. Alright, so first of all you're going to need a big pot because we're going to boil some chicken, but we're going to cut it up first. But first of all, you are going to need about, you can really judge this yourself on how much pasta you need, but I'm going to use some of the penne pasta, however you want to pronounce it. I've heard some people, I think in the past I've even called it penne pasta. So anyway, penne pasta, whatever you want to call it. But this is the plant-based pasta. So I'm going to use some of this. There's some in here. I don't even know if I'll use all that because we're not real big pasta eaters. So, but I'm going to use some of it anyway. I'll have to see once I pour it out about how much is left in there. But right about 4 ounces or so, give or take, or however much you all like. And then you're going to need 1 cup of the Pepperidge Farm herb seasoning stuffing mix. And then you're going to need 1/4 cup of Parmesan, grated Parmesan. Now I'm going to use this kind of Parmesan because I don't have any fresh Parmesan right now. So we're just going to use the grated Parmesan cheese. It will work just the same. Alright. And then we're going to use 1/4 cup of butter. I don't have that out, but we'll melt the butter when we get to that step. And then after that, you are going to need 1 10.5 ounce can of the Campbell's cream of chicken soup. You can use the generic or whatever kind that you prefer. And next, you are going to need 1 cup of milk, but we'll get that out when we need it. And you're going to need about 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese. And I'm thinking about, guys, putting maybe just a little bit of the mozzarella in there too. And I'm going to be honest, I like mozzarella better than I do the cheddar. I like cheddar, don't get me wrong, but I love the mozzarella. You're just going to need some seasonings, okay? You're going to need about, I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. My seasonings, I always season it to our taste. So that's something that I've said all along to you all, is that seasonings are always to your taste on how much you want to put in, okay? So, but I'm just going to use some garlic powder, and I'm going to use some onion powder, and we're going to use a little bit of the Mrs. Dash, the table blend. This is no salt. We like that because I don't use salt. We just try to steer clear from that if we can because we get plenty of it in the foods we eat. So I just don't do salt much unless I have to have it, you know. So anyway, and after that you will need about 2 cups of chicken breast boiled. But I'm going to use, this is going to be probably right about 2 cups of 2 pieces of chicken breast. So we're going to cut this up here in just a minute. You're going to need some vegetables. Now, I'm just using I used a little bit of the broccoli, but what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put a lot of it in there, but I'm just using the tops, so little few shavings of the broccoli, and I'm going to put that on there. Give it a little color too. And then you're going to need about 1/2 cup of corn. I use the super sweet corn, but you can use whatever kind that you prefer. And I use 1/2 cup of the early June peas. These are the smaller peas. I don't really care for the big peas, so I just buy the early June. They call them an early June pea. That's what I've always heard them called. And I get these at Aldi's. So, and they're good. They really are good. I like them better. You're going to need 1 packet of bacon. We're going to bake that. And then I'm also considering, guys, I think I might do some green onions this time. So we'll see where we get to with this. So anyway, that's all you're going to need that goes into this. So give me just a minute and I'm going to show you how to put all this together. Okay guys, first of all what we're going to do is we're going to get our bacon put in the oven here in just a minute. So I'm going to lay that to the side. But first of all, get you a big pot. We're going to put some water in this in just a minute. But I'm just going to give you an idea of how I cook my chicken. And by the way, what size I cut my chicken up to. But by the way, I forgot, guys. You're going to need your casserole dish. Now, this dish is a little smaller than a 9 by 13. So I don't know yet because sometimes I add a little bit different things in this. So it all depends. So I don't know if this is going to be quite big enough. Like, this is the smaller casserole dish. So I'll probably have to use my 9 by 13, but we'll see when we get there. But you need to grease your casserole dish, by the way, and you need your oven for your for this casserole. You do need your oven set on 350 degrees. Let's get the chicken, and we're going to get it cut up. But let me get my cutting board, so give me just a minute. Okay, guys, here we go. All right. So you need your oven set on 400 degrees, okay? Sorry about that. So I just need to make a correction there. It's 400 degrees. All right, so let's go ahead and do our chicken. And I'm just going to give you a little idea. I've got it in some of my other videos of how I cut chicken, but just in case somebody's never seen it before or never seen the video, I thought I'd do it again. But for this recipe, you need 2 cups cooked chicken cut into cubes, okay? And that's all we're going to do. So I just basically just go through it. Just really easy to do. Just cut it like this. Just cut it off into like little strips, I call it. Sometimes it wants to stick to your knife, but that's okay too. And by the way, when we bake our bacon, that gets cooked on 400 degrees as well. So the oven temperature, you guys, we're not going to need to change that. Okay, it's going to stay the same throughout this casserole. And then I just start cutting it up into cube-sized pieces. And if I think there's a piece that's a little bit too big, I'll kind of cut it down. And we're just going to put that to the side. And as I've said in my other videos, but I will say it again, guys, if you leave your chicken a little frozen, it's easier to manage. And sometimes it's easier to cut through because it stays a little stiffer for you as you try to cut through it. Mine is thawed pretty good. So, but I like to try to do that, but this evening I kind of let it thaw out a little bit too much. So just cut it up into cube-sized pieces. That's all you're going to do with your chicken. And then you're going to put it in a pot of water, and you're just going to run enough water in your pot to cover that chicken. You don't need a whole pot full. You just need enough to cover your chicken. And then you want to let your chicken boil for probably, sometimes I let mine boil for this amount of chicken, I would say anywhere between 25-30 minutes. That's just what I like to do. Yeah, I think this is going to be a little more than 2 cups, guys. So we'll have to see when we go to put this in there. Because usually I have about 2 cups. But now it depends on how big your chicken breasts are, guys. You know, of your 2 cups. So if they're pretty good size, you're probably going to have more than 2 cups. So if you have, you know, a couple smaller chicken breasts, I think I'd just use those. All right, we got all of our chicken cut up, guys. So what we'll do, I'm going to scrape this up, and I'm going to put it in my pot. Let me wash my hands off. I'm handling that chicken with some soapy water. All right, let me use the little hand towel, and I'm going to dry my hands, and I'm going to get my little pastry cutter. Those are so handy to scrape things up with. So I'm going to use it. If you got one, use that, because they do makes your life a little easier, you know. I think so, anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to bring y'all up a little bit. And we're just going to put this chicken breast over here in the pot. We'll scrape it up. Throw it in there. And I really probably should have measured this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and cook it all, because if I have any extra, I might be able to use it for chicken salad or something like that. But let me wash my hands again, y'all. I'm going to go ahead, guys, and I'm going to put some water into this pot of chicken. And when you put your water in, you want to make sure it's cold. Anybody that may not know that, you always want to use cold water when you boil your chicken. Even though it's going to heat up and get hot, you always want to start with cold water because that kind of pre-cooks your chicken like. It just is kind of a fast cook on the outside. So just, you know, start with cold water. And I don't think it's a good idea to use hot. I've never used hot, ever. Really, this is about all you need, okay? If you can see that level, and I can't really tell you, that's not even a half a pot of water, okay? So we're going to put this on the stove, and we're going to let this boil. And when it gets done, I'm going to take it off, I'm going to strain it, and then I'm going to put it in another little bowl, and we'll have that ready. But next, we're getting ready to do our bacon, so give me just a minute, y'all. Okay, guys, here we go. All right, I got my bacon done, and I went ahead and crumbled that up, but I left it in bigger pieces instead of making it real small. I just think it's better that way on a casserole. And also, you are going to need to cook your pasta. And like I said, you cook however much pasta you want. We don't like a whole lot of pasta, so just cook your pasta however much you want. You can do 4 ounces. You can do a little more than that. I wouldn't do a whole big bunch though. But we have right about 1.5 cups of penne pasta. So that's already done and ready to go. And the chicken breast, I've already got it cooked and we cut that up a little bit ago. So that's ready to go except for the seasonings. We are going to season this chicken breast. I always like to season my chicken breast, guys. But first, right now what we're going to do is we are going to put our 1 cup of our stuffing mix with 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese and 1/4 cup of butter. 1/4 cup, however you want to say it. So I'm going to melt this butter, but give me just a second and I'll be right back. Guys, you know, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and season our chicken breast while we're waiting on our butter. It shouldn't be long. So here we go. We're going to start out with some of the Mrs. Dash table blend, and I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. Let me find the opening here. I'm just going to kind of put that over it. And I didn't put any oil or anything on this chicken breast to season it. I did sprinkle some water on it, but not a whole lot. And then we're just going to stir that in. I might need to add a little more. I don't know. Maybe not. That'd be about right. Okay. And then after that, we're going to add some good old garlic powder. And we love garlic. I'm going to sprinkle some garlic powder in here. We like garlic, like I said. Okay. And then I'm going to, now I'm going to stir this together. Okay. This is always a little drier when you boil it in water. So, then we're going to add some onion powder. Remember, guys, season, this is to your taste. And seasonings is always to your taste, like I say. Alright, now we're going to put in some black pepper. And I used 2 more seasonings, y'all. Alright, I'm going to put some white pepper in it. This pepper is milder than the black pepper. Alright, we're going to sprinkle that in there. And I'm going to stir that together. Sometimes I stir my seasonings in, you know, each one of them in. And sometimes I stir them all together. Now lastly, we are going to use some smoked paprika. Now guys, on the smoked paprika, you need to be careful because this is one of the louder seasonings, okay? So you just need to be careful on it. Unless you really like smoked paprika. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of it in there. So I'm just going to stir the paprika. Smoked paprika in there. Them all in there, and it's chicken's coated well, so. Okay. There is our seasoned chicken breast. If you don't want to season your chicken breast, you don't have to do that. But I always like to season mine. Okay, guys, we're going to take our Pepperidge Farm herb seasoned stuffing mix, alright? Let me open it. And we are going to add 1 cup. Let me get my measurements to y'all so it would help you. A lot of times when I make stuff, I don't know if I specified this before, most of the time when I make stuff, I just put it together and I eyeball it, but some things I'll do a recipe for. Let's pour this down into a gallon bag, if I could ever get it in there without making a big mess. You know me. Okay. Get that in there, and then it'll stay fresh in that bag. And anyway, it's part of the bottom, and it's actually crushed up a little better, so that really worked better for us. So we're gonna do that, and then I can kind of crush it up with my hand. You may have to do that, guys, but some of the pieces can be really big. Okay, so 1 cup of the stuffing mix is gonna go in this bowl. If you see any big pieces you want to take out, feel free to take them out. If you want to. Alright, there's 1 cup. We're going to dump that into our bowl. Okay. I'm going to set these to the side because we're going to need them at the end to sprinkle just a few on top. Okay. We'll add our butter to this. Okay. Our melted butter. Remember, this is 1/4 cup of melted butter. The 1/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese. And let me shake that up real good. Alright. I'm just going to take the lid off this. And I don't think I can get this down in there. So what I'm going to have to do, I'll just pour it out in there. So let's do 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan. Whoops. Get a little extra, don't worry about it. It'll be alright. But I am going to kind of level this off a little bit without making a big mess. Alright, there's our 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. If you have the real Parmesan cheese, use that. Because that is good. In it. Together. Okay. With our 1/4 cup of butter. And just blend it in good, guys. That's all you got to do. I kind of take me a rubber spatula and kind of push down on them a little bit. Kind of help crush up what is in there. It might be a little bit bigger than I like. That way it's kind of a little finer. Okay, guys. We've got it. That seems to be good enough. Let me put this over to the side a minute because we're going to need a bigger bowl. Now, you can do this in the casserole dish if that's what you prefer, but I just don't do it that way. I do it different. So let's start with our Campbell's soup first. 10.5 ounce can, cream of chicken soup. We're going to put that in our bowl. And then after the cream of chicken soup, we are going to add 1 cup of milk. All right. Okay. So 1 cup of milk going in. All right. There it goes. Okay. To add 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese. But now, guys, this is how I do this. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You could just do 1 cup of the cheddar cheese if that's what you want, or I mean 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese. And if you want to use all cheddar, you can. Mozzarella, you can. It's totally up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1/2 cup of the mozzarella like this, okay? That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to throw that in there, right? And then take me a little cheddar, and I'm not going to use much cheddar. So I'll probably just put it in this 1/4 cup. We'll use about 1/4 cup of cheddar. Now this is just something extra that I do. You don't have to, but I do. Okay. And then after our cheese, we are going to go ahead and add a little more garlic powder to this. And then we'll get our chicken, our pasta, and the rest of the ingredients that go in here. So we'll get our garlic powder. Season this to what you like, guys. Put however much garlic powder you like, okay? Alright, that's all I'm going to use. And we've already got our chicken seasoned anyway, so I don't want to get too much. So now we're going to add our 2 cups breast. Then we're going to throw that in there. Our veggies, okay? So first of all, we're going to add our 1/2 cup of early peas. And you use whatever kind of veggies you like, okay? Then we're going to add 1/2 cup of our sweet corn. Okay? Put that in there. Then the last veggie we're going to use is some of the broccoli shavings off of the top of the broccoli florets. We're going to add that in there. We're just going to go ahead and put our pasta that we cooked in here. So here's our pasta, and I may not use all this because it looks like quite a bit. So I'm thinking I'm going to stop right there, y'all, because I don't think I'm going to need all that. And I don't think it's going to get all of this goodness mixed in, okay? It's all you got to do, just mix all this stuff in there. Okay? Remember, your chicken's already cooked. Your noodles are already cooked. Your veggies won't take but a minute. My corn was frozen, but it will cook very well in there for just a few minutes. And it won't take long for them. Now, if you're going to do carrots in here, guys, I recommend that you kind of boil them a little bit before you put them in this mixture, okay? All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this into our casserole dish. And I'm trying to decide if I want to use... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use the 9x13, guys. I've changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to need it. But the bacon, we're going to put that on last. That's going to be a topping. All right? So now, let me get my casserole dish. I'm going to wipe my hands off. And I'm going to spray it down with some cooking spray a little bit. You don't have to kill it. Your oven, like I said earlier, needs to be on 400. Just spray it down just a little. Okay. We're not going to add our stuffing mix stuff we just made up yet. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to pour this into this casserole dish. Boy, this is going to be delicious. Boy, it smells delicious. Once I get this in here, all I'm going to do is put it in there and bake it for about 20 minutes. Something like that, y'all. Because there's nothing in here that really needs to actually cook now. Because we've already done that, see. There's a few steps to this, but I'll tell you, this is delicious. Alright, guys, here it is. That's what it should look like. And it all depends on what kind of veggies that you decide to use. Already cooked or the ones in the can that's already cooked. That'd be a good idea, but I didn't have none of those. So anyway, this is what your casserole should look like. So I'm going to put this in there for 20 minutes, and when this gets done, I'll be out and we'll finish it up. So give me just a minute, guys. Okay, guys, we're going to stir this in. Just got it out. So we're going to stir it. We want to stir this in this time. One time about. There's all that good cheese. Yum, yum, yum. That helps to keep your noodles from baking in the oven and getting kind of dry. You know, just stirring that in with the other part of it and the liquids. And hot. So we can go ahead and put our, on top of this. Let's go ahead. Here's our stuffing mix that we made up with the butter and all. So we're gonna sprinkle that on right now. Okay, just sprinkle it all over the top of your casserole. Man, oh man, oh man, that is going to be so good. I can't help it, guys. Wow. It smells delicious. So you're going to have quite a bit of this, y'all. Okay? Bake it on now because that will help heat that bacon up too. So let's sprinkle that on just a little bit. Then we might set to with it, guys. It's not going to hurt anything. I mean, it really ain't. It's going to have plenty of bacon on it. I know that. And that's going to make it good, good, good. I'm telling you right now. Alright, there's our bacon. That is gone and on top. Let me wash my hands off again in the oven, and I'll be back here in just a few minutes. So give me just a minute, guys. Guys, it's out of the oven, and it looks so good. All of our stuffing mixture here, it browned pretty good. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw some green onions on here, guys. Okay? I'm not going to use, I'm not going to use all these. I'm just going to put a few on here, make it a little colorful with the bacon. Maybe that we can kind of push them down in there just a little bit, so when we go to get some out, they might stay on there a little bit. Put a little bit of cheese on this. Let's do that. Let's just do it right. If we're going to make this, let's just do it right. Here, we're only going to sprinkle. We're not going to put much on. We're just going to sprinkle this on, and I'm going to stick it back in the oven. The oven's off right now, but that cheese will melt just a little bit will. So that's all I want on the top of that is mozzarella and just a sprinkle of cheddar. And that's it. Just got to thinking, let's do it upright. Let's not play around with this. If we're going to do something, do it right. All right. Let's sprinkle a little cheddar. And it makes it look a little more colorful too. So, and it'll be good. Even again for just a minute. And then I'll bring it back out and I'll show you what looks like a cheese melter, which I'm sure y'all got an idea anyway. So anyway, guys, give me just a minute, and I'll be back. So it shouldn't take this long to melt. But it's out of the oven, and it is done. And wait till you see this up close. Look at this. Man, oh man. That bacon down in there, and those green onions, and the cheese we added to the top just for fun. And we figured if we were going to do it, we're going to do it right. I mean, it's just, gosh, I cannot wait. But this is super. I appreciate y'all watching the video and watching me make this up. I apologize if it's been a little longer than normal. But I will post some pictures, guys, of in the video when I post it of what it looked like on the inside, so you know. And, guys, listen, if you don't mind, to go to Cheryl Kate's Cooking Diaries on Facebook and like and comment and share and follow. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you don't mind, to go over to my YouTube channel and like and comment and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So listen, guys, I've enjoyed this time with you this evening, and I have had loads of fun, and I hope you all have too. And as I said before, I apologize if this has been a little longer video, but I'm telling you, this right here is so worth it. So I hope y'all will make it and try it out. So anyway, guys, listen, y'all stay safe. And always remember to keep God in your heart and God in your life. Bye.